everyone, I was not expecting to make this video this early in the postseason. Actually, I came up with the idea suggesting what every eliminated postseason team should do this offseason to get back to the playoffs and improve when the White Sox lost Game 2 to the Astros. Unfortunately, my Reds are the team to kick off this series, and in this video, you'll definitely notice that I will sound more angry than any other video planned for the series, so low warning. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and get into what we need to do to get back to the postseason and improve. I want to start things off by talking about why we failed before I talk about what we can do to improve. But before I talk about the failures, I'm just going to say that trading Blake Snell is not something I'm going to give this team for. He wasn't great all year, and the offer was too good to pass up. First thing is first, not picking up Morton's option was dumb. I get he was an expensive 37-year-old veteran, but he proved this year that we really should have picked up his option, and he wanted to be here, and he definitely could have helped us out with our starting rotation problems this year. Second, the free agent signings this offseason was not terrific. Collin McHugh was a fantastic signing, and bringing back Mike Zunino paid off, but y'all signed Rich Hill, who struggled after a great May, and traded him away, signed Michael Wacha, who struggled for the majority of the season, and y'all didn't know how to use him, and you brought Chris Archer back just for him to miss 90% of the season. Third, this team failed to improve at the deadline. I already know what y'all are gonna say. Charlie, we won the AL East and had the best record in the AL. We were a really great team that fell short. You shouldn't complain about the deadline when we were fine. Okay, yes, that is correct. We were a great team and we were fine. Problem is, we didn't do much to take this team to the next level like the Dodgers and Giants did. Yes, we traded for Nelson Cruz, but he was a bust. I hate to say that because I really like the guy and he did have a huge influence on some of these players, but he failed to contribute and he was the only big acquisition we had. And we had a chance to do more, like trade for Chris Bryant and maybe go after another starting pitcher or two, since our ace is out for the year and the only reliable guy in the rotation is a rookie. No, instead, we don't get a starting pitcher. We trade away one of our best relievers for a guy who can't even close games. While the Jordan Luplow trade wasn't bad, it just felt like we could have done more to take this team to the next level, and we failed. Shane McClanahan, Shane Boss, Drew Rasmussen, and Luis Patino are going to be good for us in the future, but next time don't have a bunch of inexperienced guys pitch in the postseason. There are a lot of players that have contributed to the Rays over the last couple of seasons, including this year, that will possibly leave us in free agency. But there are players I want to bring back. I want to re-sign Collin McHugh. I think he was a huge help to us this year, and he should come back to this team. And we need to pick up Mike Zunino's team option. I know he wasn't great in the postseason, but the pitchers on his team love having him, and he's coming off an all-star year. He deserves to be on this team for another year. Now for the guys I don't want. Nelson Cruz. I know that sounds crazy to non-Rays fans, but he really wasn't the man that took this team to the next level. He couldn't hit at the drop, and it's obvious age is finally catching up to him. Michael Wacha. I know he had some solid outings to finish the year, but really, we didn't know how to use him, and I think we can get someone better. Jas Rowe. He was a reliable pitcher for us, but the last 2 seasons was derailed by injuries, and he's 35. I think it's best we don't risk bringing him back. David Robertson. He wasn't terrible, but he wasn't elite, and he's another aging pitcher that we don't need on this team. And finally, Chris Archer. Injuries have been a problem for him, and even before he got injured, he just wasn't that good anymore. He's still one of my favorite all-time Rays, but it's time for him to go. I think it's important that we go after guys that can fill the position of needs and take us to the next level. We have some guys that we should call up that will help us out in the future. I really think we need to make some big moves, and I know what y'all are gonna say. Y'all aren't gonna spend much money. Well, I'm holding on to some hope that we're gonna spend some money this offseason, since we tried to sign Marcell Ozuna last year. Thank God we didn't. We tried to trade for Chris Bryant, who's making more money than a lot of players on this Rays team combined. Yes, obligatory mention of our low payroll, since that's our identity. So yeah, I might give myself some false hope here. For starters, we need another starting pitcher or two. I really think Shane McClanahan, Shane Boss, Luis Patino, and Drew Rasmussen will take the next step, but I'm not on board with Ryan Yarbrough anymore. I don't think Yarny Chirinos will be the same after his Tommy John surgery. We should get rid of him. I hate saying that, but that's just my opinion. I have no clue what's going to happen with Brendan McKay, and I really think we need to move Josh Fleming to the bullpen. I think we can afford to go after Robbie Ray. Yes, Cy Young candidate and award winner in my opinion. Robbie Ray that could get paid huge this year, but after seeing his market value at $17 million, I'm giving myself some false hope here. Marcus Stroman. He isn't elite, but he would make this rotation better, and I'd also hope that he's an elite fielder. And Alex Cobb, a former Ray that has really bounced back in the last couple of years. We should also try to go after some position players that hit very well against lefties and can help us out a lot, like for example, Brandon Belt. I know we don't need a first baseman, but like I said, we need to make moves that will improve this team. Try to get Chris Bryant again. I know he said he loves San Francisco, but we should try to get him to love St. Pete and not Montreal, Stuart. And Eduardo Escobar. He offers great versatility and can hit against lefties. Pitching to lefties wasn't a huge problem for the bullpen this year, and we do get Jalen Beeks back, but I still think grabbing a lefty will help us out a lot. We really should try to convince Aaron Loup to come back to us after posting a 0.95 ERA this year. Yes, I just use ERA to determine how good a relief pitcher is, but that 0.95 ERA is absolutely sexy. Tony Watson, he would be a good addition to the bullpen. Andrew Miller, believe it or not, he still posted some great numbers against lefties this year and was good in high leverage situations. Adam Morgan, I know he's terrible against righties, but if we don't get any of the guys I just mentioned, then get Adam Morgan and just don't use him in high leverage situations. Now, the guys I'm about to mention did once help us out, but I really think we would benefit from them being gone. That's harsh, but that's just how it is. For starters, I want to talk about Ryan Yarbrough. I mentioned earlier that I'm not on board with him. I know we aren't going to get anyone good for him, but he's just not a starter. And maybe he can become a good long relief pitcher, but I just don't think he's that great anymore. Joey Wendell. He had a really good start to the year, but then he just wasn't reliable anymore, and I'm starting to think last year was a bit fluky. And I think we can be a better team if he's gone. The Rays have called up Wander Franco, Shane McClanahan, Luis Patino, and Shane Baz, and I'm still really excited about our farm system. We have Fidel Brujan, who was called up earlier this year but never stuck around. I think he deserves another shot, and I think the experience he has already, he'll be better the second time around. Josh Lowe was also called up and didn't stick around, but I really love his potential. He has power, speed, and he's a pretty good fielder. Now, I would like to think that signing a few guys, getting rid of some guys, and calling up a few players will make us instantly better, but that is just not the case. This team needs to do a few things better for us to take that next step. For starters, Brandon Lau has to become a better player in the postseason. When he's hot, he's the best hitter on his team. Unfortunately, he has not been a good postseason hitter in his career. This year, he went 0-18 in the ALDS, and that played a role in losing that series. He needs to use his failures as motivation to get better and be a better postseason hitter for the Rays. We as a team need to be better at stealing bases. I swear to God, we have the lowest IQ when it comes to stealing bases. The Rays led the MLB in caught stealing, with them being caught 42 times. Look, I'm not asking for Ricky Henderson-like numbers, I just want us to be better at stealing bases. Shane McClanahan needs to work on his fastball this offseason. He already has some good swing and miss stuff, but if his fastball gets better, he can become the ace the Rays need in 2022. If Drew Rasmussen wants to stick to being a starting pitcher, he needs to develop a third pitch. His fastball and slider are good, but he just needs a third pitch to become more effective. Maybe he could work on his curveball and changeup this offseason. Luis Patino is like Drew Rasmussen. He uses the fastball and slider a lot and needs to develop a third pitch. Like maybe the changeup, curveball, and sinker could be worked on this offseason. JP Fireisen either needs to work on his slider or get rid of it, because his slider has gotten him in the most trouble this year. Also, please fix Bally Sports. God damn, it was awful watching baseball and Bally Sports this year. Felt like every game I watched, there was some technical error after technical error. Please fix whatever the was going on with all of that this year. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about the Rays, and I really hope we do everything we can to improve next year and finally get the ring this franchise deserves. And if y'all love this video, I plan on doing more with other eliminated teams, so hope you liked it. Anyways, I will see y'all later. Y'all have a great day. Raise up.